Welding 101. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Natalio Cortez, and today we're going to be talking about the Welding 101 process, overlapping welds. As you've seen on the previous picture, those are the basic tools that you guys will need for this procedure. The basic tools are your chip and hammer, wire brush, and if you have a grinder with a wire wheel, that will definitely benefit you in the long run. All right, the video is already going, and as you guys can see, the weld itself is kind of hard to see with the smoke, but I know we'll have better lighting, better footage when we actually start recording. All right, so just to explain what's going on, what you guys are seeing right now as the welding procedures is taking place. Overlapping welds, you're just putting one weld down, another one right next to it, so on and so forth, until you reach a total of 10 overlapping welds. All right. In the welding world, we have what we call edges of the weld or toes. Same thing. So in other words, right here you see me putting my welding electrode right on the edge of that previous weld, which is also known as the toe. So either side is, if you're looking at it from the top, you got your top toe, bottom toe. If you're looking at it straight ahead, you'll have your left toe, right toe. Okay. So either way, you want to use that edge to put the tip of that electrode right on that edge, and just follow it along. The electrode itself melts. Okay, so all I'm doing as the welder is letting the rod do its job, melt on its own, and all I'm doing is guiding it down, making sure that I'm staying right on that edge of that weld. I'm also keeping an eye on my puddle, also known as the Weld Pool. The puddle, if you would, you want to have it a certain shape the whole time. Right now, if you look at it, it looks kind of like a circle or even a small oval shape. That's about the right shape, and your job is to keep it looking that same shape the whole way down. Another thing that I want you guys to pay close attention to is the arc length. The arc length is the distance that I'm from my workpiece to the electrode, the tip of the electrode. All right, and as you guys can see, to the naked eye, it looks like I'm right on that metal. All right, but I'm actually holding it about a 1/16 to an 1/8 off of that plate. The rod itself, the electrode, is melting, and as it melts, I'm pushing it down with my hand, doing my best to keep that puddle the same shape all the way down. Right here I stopped halfway because I wanted to show you guys a restart method. All right, a restart is anytime you stop a weld because you have to, you run out of electrode, whatever the case may be, and you have to restart it and make it look like one solid weld. Right here I'm using my chalk to draw the exact motion that I'm going to be doing with my electrode, and all I'm going to be doing is starting ahead about 1 inch ahead of my puddle and going right back to it, tracing the inside of my puddle with the tip of my electrode and coming right back over those track marks. I don't want to leave any mess, so I want to, wherever I started, I want to go right back over those track marks, making it look as clean and consistent as possible. I never want to start off on top, the bottom, on the edge, because then you'll be able to see my arc marks, and it's just gonna look like small craters or a scratch on the metal that doesn't belong there, and that's a big no-no. All right, here I slowed the video down just to give you guys a better look at where exactly I'm holding the tip of that electrode, right on the edge of the previous weld, and you can see a better picture of that puddle, or the weld pool if you would. All right, so here's another weld right on the edge. Like I said, as I finish this weld, I want you guys to pay attention to how I clean the weld. I'm gonna hold my plate down with my wire brush, and with my chipping hammer, I'm gonna use the sharp tip of it to scratch off that slag. Y'all see that? Once I'm done scratching off the slag, I use my wire brush to brush off the rest and get it as shiny as possible. You want to put quite a bit of pressure on that wire brush to get the remaining of that slag out of there and get it ready for your next weld. The cleaner you get it, the better result you'll have. Another reason you want to clean it off is because the shinier it is, the easier it is for you to see where you're going. If you don't clean it off and you don't do it properly the right way, you're gonna have a hard time seeing where you're going. All right. The slag, just to cover a little bit about it, the slag is what covers, is the coating on the actual electrode that protects the actual weld from the outside air, the atmosphere. So as the weld goes along, you'll see that molten pool, that puddle, getting covered up by something in the back, but you really can't see what it is. But that is the slag that's covering up the weld to protect it, and it just has to stay on there for the duration of the weld. It doesn't have to stay on there for 5-10 minutes at a time or anything like that. Just as long as the weld is complete, you can go right back over it, chip it off, and get ready for the next weld. Here's another shot. This is the last weld. This is my 10th weld, and nothing has changed. I'm staying right on that edge of that weld, that previous weld, keeping the tip of my rod, the tip of my electrode right on that edge, keeping the same shape of that puddle, and just letting the rod do its job. All I'm doing as the welder is guiding it down. So here we're gonna jump to the wire wheel. And remember what I said, the wire wheel is like having 10 wire brushes in your hand. It goes very fast. It makes everything very easy, makes everything very shiny and clean. So if you get your hands on a wire wheel, I highly recommend you do so. All right, we'll see the finished product with a closer shot here in a little bit. This is how I position my electrode on my stinger. The stinger itself is a whole nother class on its own. Here I'm going to show you guys how to start up your electrode. I'm using a scratch start, just like starting a match. You get it close to the metal, get the electricity, metal to metal touching, get the arc going, get the puddle formed, and guide the rod. All right, the electrode. Here is another method. This is called the tapping method. He's going to tap it down on top of the metal. As soon as you make contact, metal to metal, and you see that arc, bring it down to about a 16th or an 1/8. Build your puddle and guide that electrode, keeping that puddle looking the same. Earlier I mentioned the distance from metal to the workpiece. If you go past that 1/8, now you're looking into long arcing. Long arcing is where the electricity has nowhere to go. So as a welder, it's our job to guide that puddle, that electricity, where we want it to go. if we give it an option, that's going way too far away from the workpiece, and that's what creates a long arc. That's a no-no. All right, here I'm going way too close to the metal. I'm actually touching the metal. That's also a no-go in the welding world. All right, and this is going way too fast. Here I'm dragging the electrode along the workpiece. Like I said earlier, the electrode itself melts, so all you're doing is guiding it down. There's no need for you to pull it, drag it, or any of that stuff. As the electrode melts, you're just guiding it down. If you get your electrode stuck to your workpiece, you want to vigorously shake it to the left and to the right, just once each side. It should snap off. But if it gets stuck and it does not snap off, you want to leave it stuck. Go to your electrode holder, squeeze the lever together, and at the same time, real fast, pull it away from the electrode. Let the electrode cool, because it is hot, and then slowly pull it off and reuse it. All right, here's the final product. You got 10 overlapping welds. You want to cover half of the previous weld and just make it look like a flat piece of ironwork. All right, you want to be as consistent as possible and as steady as possible. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know if there's anything you guys would like to change, add, take away, any tips. Obviously, we're here to help the school, so let me know what else you guys would like to see here. This video took me about 30 minutes, honestly, but that was because I was getting pulled out of the booth for certain things. It can be done in 10 minutes, but with the explanation, and this video was fast forwarded, so there was no actual time footage in here. Everything was fast forwarded. So just take that into consideration. Maybe we can go down to 5 welds or stick to this but add more time. I just wanted to make this video, add the commentary, and see what you guys think. Thank you, and look forward to hearing from y'all.